You're watching VinylicPumaGaming. What's up, guys? This is VinylicPuma, and today I'm back with yet another Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel countdown video for you guys. Today, I'm going to be going over what I think are some of the best Roid shields from both games. Now, from what I was able to tell, there aren't that many unique Roid shields from both games. Borderlands 2 has about 4, and the pre-sequel has about 3. And one of those from Borderlands 2, the Punchy, is a pretty awful Roid shield because it has very low recharge delay. So while I could have made a list that included more Roid shields, I opted for a shorter list with what I would consider to be some of the better choices. If your favorite Roid shield from either game doesn't appear on this particular list, it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. It's just that these are the Roid shields that I prefer. So without further ado, these will be the top 5 best melee or Roid shields from both Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, starting now. Number 5, the Order. So this is a Roid shield that has sort of become obsolete with the introduction of certain DLC weapons, as well as the player base discovering new tactics on how to build and play melee-style characters. Despite that, I still think that the Order is a really good Roid shield for what it is, and it's a really good Roid shield for lower-level characters, as it can be quite useful in both normal and true Vault Hunter mode. Interestingly, the Order has very high Roid damage when compared to other Roid shields in Borderlands 2, and it's actually superior to the Thumper in this regard. However, you'll find that the Order has a much lower shield recharge delay in comparison. As you probably know, the Order has a unique special effect when combined with the Law Pistol. When performing a melee attack with both of these weapons equipped, 25% of melee damage dealt is returned to you as health. This is actually pretty good considering that the Law Pistol provides 100% bonus to melee damage as opposed to the standard 50% that you see on the vast majority of other weapons in Borderlands 2. This combination is actually pretty good, and this is especially the case early on, and is also the case if you don't have any DLC. However, the problem is that certain DLC weapons can be combined with other Roid shields to yield similar effects with better damage output, or in the case of the Thumper, you're not getting as much damage output, but you're getting a Roid shield that is much easier to use. When it comes to weapons, the Rapier provides superior melee damage bonus. The Law's 100% boost just can't compete with the Rapier's 200% boost. And there's also all of the Moxie weapons with blade attachments. A Grog Nozzle will heal the player for 64% of damage dealt from all sources, not just melee damage. As I just mentioned, when it comes to Roid shields, the Thumper is easier to use, and the Hide of Tera provides the best Roid damage in the game. So, assuming you wanted the best Roid damage and best healing, you're probably going to go with a Grog or Rapier and the Hide of Tera at really high levels. Even still, you can get the Order from the BFF's quest, and you can get the Law from the Won't Get Fooled Again side quest, and both of these side quests are located in Sanctuary. Number 4, the Big Thumper. For those of you that have been playing Borderlands 2 a lot since its release, you may recognize this particular shield from a glitch that was discovered with the Loot the World app for Borderlands 2. At the time, a lot of people expected this weapon to be a new DLC weapon that was going to get added for Borderlands 2. However, it ultimately became a shield that we would see in Borderlands the pre-sequel. Now, the Big Thumper is pretty straightforward. It's a legendary Roid shield with really high Roid bonus and a fairly decent recharge delay. On average, the recharge delay appears to be about 10 seconds or higher, making it a little more easier to use than some of the other higher-end Roid shields from both Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. What I will admit is that it's lame that the Big Thumper doesn't really have any exceptional or really unique special effects. It's just a Roid shield with far above average stats, so you're not getting any cool unique effects or abilities here, which is sort of a shame, but still, high recharge delay is very useful for melee characters. Another issue with this Roid shield is that it appears to be a random world drop. As far as I can tell, it doesn't appear that the Big Thumper ever had a specific farming location, unlike both the Shooting Star and the Avalanche Roid shields. This makes acquiring a Big Thumper a little more difficult, and considering that the Shooting Star is really good and currently has a specific designated drop area, a lot of players are likely to skip over the Big Thumper and will end up acquiring the Shooting Star instead. Speaking of other Roid shields from the pre-sequel, the Big Thumper and the Avalanche use the exact same shield material or shield skin. It's unfortunate that the Big Thumper didn't end up using the red bandit skin that we see for purple rarity shields in Borderlands 2. That would have made it stand out a lot more. That said, I still would recommend this shield if you can find it. Otherwise, try and go with the Shooting Star, as it is a little easier to get. Number 3, the Love Thumper. In my personal opinion, this is Borderlands 2's best melee shield, as I think it's the easiest one to use. However, when it comes to raw stats, you're going to find that the Love Thumper isn't the best Roid shield in Borderlands 2 when it comes to Roid damage. As I alluded to earlier, the biggest advantage the Love Thumper has is its extremely high shield recharge delay. This is really good for Roid shields because you don't have to worry about precise timing and shield capacity management. Not worrying about losing your Roid damage bonus is extremely useful, and as long as you don't go into fight for your life, you don't have to worry about your shield capacity being recharged. While it's not the most useful aspect of the shield, and you could even go as far to consider it to be the Love Thumper's biggest problem, it is worth mentioning that performing melee attacks while Roid is activated will emit an explosive nova. This doesn't do insane damage to enemies, but it is a nice effect against them. Unfortunately, the Love Thumper's explosive nova will hurt teammates, so it's recommended you use the Love Thumper during single player. If playing with friends, try to use a different Roid shield as you run the risk of hurting them in the process. The Love Thumper is going to be a really good Roid shield for solo melee players. Both Zero and Krieg will benefit the most from using the shield. Now, while I wouldn't recommend it, you could also use this shield on Axton, as the Explosive Nova does benefit from grenade damage bonus. If you want a Love Thumper, you will need to complete the Best Mother's Day Ever side quest located in the Highlands. And during this quest, you can kill Henry for a Cradle Shield, which is probably one of the worst shields from both Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. But the Love Thumper's good, so it all evens out. Number 2, the Shooting Star. So the Shooting Star has got to be one of, if not the best Roid shields in Borderlands the pre-sequel. This is especially the case when it's used in conjunction with cryo-weapons with blade attachments. The Shooting Star has very high Roid damage for a Roid shield in the pre-sequel, and when the shield capacity is depleted, melee attacks are often accompanied by an explosion. And presumably, this is a meteoroid hitting whatever you just meleeed, but regardless of whatever it is, this explosive damage can deal a crap ton of additional damage to frozen enemies. This is on top of the already impressive Roid damage that you can also deal with the shield. As you can imagine, this would be a really good shield to use with the Excalibastard laser. You could freeze an enemy with a critical hit from the laser projectile and melee an enemy with a depleted shield for a near-instant kill. The first meleeed enemy will cause other enemies to get pulled in by a singularity attack, and then they may get freezed by the ensuing cryonova that would occur afterwards. As with all melee weapons and melee pieces of gear, I think this is going to be best used by Athena. The combination of certain skills like Omega Senchu, Rend, or Bleed damage, along with your Aspis, are going to make it really easy to deal a bunch of damage to enemies really quickly, while also maintaining some decent defenses. Really, the only problem I have with this shield is the recharge delay. I just wish it was a little higher than it currently is. Even still, I don't think the shield recharge delay is so low that it makes the Shooting Star way too difficult to use. Along with most other Roid shields in the pre-sequel, the Shooting Star got nerfed as a part of one of the early updates for the game. Roid damage was decreased by about 80% or so. Before the nerf, a melee Athena with a Shooting Star and Excalibastard was extremely overpowered. The nice thing is that because bosses are refarmable now, getting the Shooting Star in a legitimate way is much easier and practical. To acquire the Shooting Star, you will need to complete the Red Then Dead side quest mission. From there, you can kill the Lost Legion power suit noob over and over again until you get the Shooting Star to drop. And if you're lucky, you can also receive the Shooting Star while playing through the mission as well. Number 1, the Hide of Terramorphous. Without a doubt, the Hide of Terramorphous is the most powerful Roid shield from Borderlands 2. It's unique in the sense that it combines 3 different shield types together, the primary being Roid, while the 2 secondary effects are Nova and Spike shield types. This is kind of neat since the spike effect will deal fire damage when you get hit by melee attacks, while a Nova will emit when the shield is depleted. And of course, not to mention, you're getting the best Roid damage in the game once your shield is depleted too, so all of the benefits from the Hide of Tera are quite useful. Just like the Love Thumper, you're going to find that this is going to be best used on either Zero or Krieg. That said, you might like the Hide of Tera on Gage if you have the Sharing is Caring skill. Enemies will take damage when they melee Death Trap, and if they manage to deplete Death Trap's shield, they receive damage from the Fire Nova as well as any Roid damage Death Trap deals afterwards. While I'm not going to dispute the fact that the Hide of Tera is the best Roid shield in Borderlands 2, I don't like the shield quite as much as the Love Thumper. It makes sense to me why the shield recharge delay on this is low, but I wish the shield recharge delay was higher. If you can multiply the shield recharge from what it currently is by about 2 or maybe even 3, it would make the Hide of Tera's Roid damage component much easier to use. Even still, this is the Roid shield you're going to want to use during co-op or multiplayer play because you don't have to deal with the Love Thumper's obnoxious explosive Nova dealing any damage to your teammates. If you want a Hide of Tera, you're going to have to farm it from Tera. Unlike the Slayer of Tera class mods, this shield isn't guaranteed to drop 100% of the time, and while I can't say for certain, I think if you kill Tera at least 50 times, you will probably get a Hide of Tera. It's definitely worth the effort if you ask me, and this is essential if you like melee playstyles. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this particular video. Like this video if you liked it, and as always, take care and I'll see y'all next time.